Guten Dudeses. Welcome to my Guardian farm-ish, at least today for the purpose of this video. It's a Guardian farm. Let me put on F3, and this is where we ended, and this is the way we've traveled. As you can see, we're going back now, and this is one of the stasis stations that we passed along the way. Yeah, and there's the interpole I put back, so it's ready for another run. And if we just keep going, you can see that this is the intersection where we had the choice of going to the bamboo farm, and down there in the horizon is where we started, right down there. And if you look at F3, you can see how much it's like roughly 550 blocks we traveled very, very quickly. And that is the purpose of this video and an interpearl transportation system. It's to have quick and easy travel in your world. If we go once more, interpearl stasis chambers have been around for a long time, but it's gotten much easier in 1.16 because now you can just throw an interpearl in water with soul sand on it, and it will keep its position until it's moved. Let's go here. This is my bamboo farm, and just remember to always make it ready again. And without further ado, let's try and build a station, because I placed down an observer and I placed down 8 power rails like this, and then an observer, 8 power rails, and so on. I've got a huge inspiration for this by watching Etho. He's doing an interporter, as he calls it in his world, so I'll probably just call it an interporter. When you get to this and you want to make a station, you take out a block like this and you go down a block. Then you place another observer right here, and let me take out this. Then you make it's a monostable circuit, I guess. You put in another observer right there, and then you take a repeater and put it on 4 ticks, and then you take a torch like that. Then you go around it and you place a trapdoor like this. You could use other things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then a soul sand, and then just fill it up with source blocks. As I said, you can use other things than a trapdoor, but I saw Etho do that, and it's very good because you actually get aligned, so you can put in a new pearl right away, and if you use it a lot, that's probably saving time. So now you can see now the interpearl is in stasis, and it will stay there forever until it's pushed into something. And let me just remove this torch, and we are instantly teleported to this place. So that's basically how it works. That's the mechanism of it. It's that we're trying to use. So it's important to remember that when you set this up, you want to have this observer be in the top position. Otherwise it won't fire till the next time. So you have to do like this. And then you can enclose it if you want to. Let's just try this out first. I should have put down the button first. I didn't, so now, but it will work when I put down the button like this. Normally it will be a 2 signal. Yeah, as you can see, instant. And then you want to put a dispenser there, because when you travel you don't want to get caught out without interpearl, so it's nice to have an interpearl put in inventory right when you go. Then you can encase it. I will just do an encasing here, because then you can see the redstone throughout the video, like this and like this. Thank you. And if we go back here, now it's set up correctly, and if we just push the button, instant, and we got an interpearl, and we put it in, and we're ready to go on our way. So that's how the system works. But how do you go to sides and up and down and all that kind of stuff? Easy. Very, very easy. All you have to do is take an observer that looks into the observer like this. So it will get a signal, and then you branch off, and of course you use the powered rails again. And if you want to go up or down, let's go up right here, then you just carry the rails on. Of course the rails can carry power upwards as well. And the only thing you have to be mindful of is really that you can have a max of 8 powered rails between each observer. So in this case we have to take one down and then put an observer there, and then just put a powered rail here and here, and we should be good to go. If you want to go further up, then you have to remove that, because we're not interested in having a minecart going there, just a signal. So it would go up like this, and from now you can go another 8, like this, and like this. And just to show you that it has power, we can do like this, and put in a rail here, and then it will get a signal. So if we do like this, we have a signal. We do like this, we have a signal. Very, very good. But Fab, how come you're not using redstone? Well, redstone is definitely an option. And it's easy to connect to the same system like this. And you could actually have 15 blocks between the repeaters, but it is more laggy. Redstone just creates lag, and it's also a bit slower because of the repeaters. There's actually a third way. It is using string, because they can connect 40 blocks and they're faster. But you have the risk of mobs triggering it by accident, and it's more difficult to get up and down. But how long can you actually take this? Well, it depends on your render distance. Normally I play with 12 chunks. If you're on the server, it's normally 10, which is the equivalent of 160 blocks. Then the redstone just dies. So it's not loaded, so it won't work. So you can take it a distance of 160 block if you're on a server, and otherwise in a single player world it depends on what you set your settings to. Of course you can also use chunk loaders, I will show you in a second, but about the powered rails, they're expensive. So what I do is I use duper. Yeah, some say it's cheating. But I do it in this case because it takes a lot of powered rails. And let me just show you very, very quickly how to build one if you don't know it. It's very, very simple. It's like this, and then you take an observer facing down and put on a rail, another observer facing into the piston like this, and you don't even need the block. In 1.16 you just do like this, and just wait. In a very short while you have a lot of power rails. Okay, back to the chunk loading. If you want to go a very long distance and you don't want to have these pit stops on the way, you need to do a chunk loader. And you can do this in many various ways. I'm just going to show you one way to do it, where you actually use a dropper, 3 droppers on top of each other, and then 1 dropper facing into the portal like this. Then you take a hopper into the dropper and a hopper into that hopper, and then you put normal rails on top of it like so, and then 2 minecarts, hopper minecarts like this. They will suck anything out of the bottom of the portal frame. And then you take an observer, and then you take a solid block, it could be any solid block, and you put a redstone dot on top of it. Then you take observer looking into that redstone, that will fire that one, and then you take an observer looking into the observer and you put redstone on top, and you're basically done. Well, you can light up the portal. All you need to do now is to make sure that the items that we fire through it won't go through the portal, so you will just need to build up a small wall like this, like so, and you're good to go. And then you go into the nether and you do exactly the same there. I've done it, so now I'm going back, and then you just take one item, just one item, and you place it in the lowest one of these droppers like this, and it will be shot back and forth now, keeping this area loaded. So now it's perma loaded, which means that you can actually run the redstone past it for much longer. Now I built up one more of these, so now we are going away from the Guardian farm, and now we're going past the intersection where we can go to the bamboo farm, and I've built one there as well, and I've circumvented the redstone so it doesn't trigger that station. And if we go down here, you can see it's a lot longer than 160 or 200 blocks, and I just click this, then we should be going to the second last one. And we did, because I placed that block there so I could recognize it instantly. So that's one way to do it as well. You can use chunk loaders, and maybe in some cases that's a good idea, but that actually depends on how you want to build up your system, because that's the last thing I'm going to talk about today. How do you actually organize your interporter system? Well, one obvious way is to do it like another hub. I mean, you have a central hub and you go in 4 directions. From there you can actually walk, make tunnels, or you can make localized interporter systems that go out to specific sites. It's all up to you, but that's definitely a way to do it. The problem is that you always have to go back to the central hub. There's no skipping between sites directly. Another way is to make like a spine. That's what we have done here today. You have a central line of stations, and then you go out from these stations to other sites. And there's a possibility that you can go skip between the stations if they're close enough. You can skip in a triangle, basically. And which one is best then? It depends. I think that I'm going to be building this up in my Let's Play world, and I think I will go with a mixture. So I will probably have a central hub like this in my base, and as soon as I move out, I will probably have a more organic system like this, because so you can skip from destinations that are close to each other. An important thing to remember is you have to build this both ways. Alright guys, hit that like button, smash that support button. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.